Jesus in his preaching said, when you give any gift to the poor, don't do it like the hypocrites. If you're praying, don't pray like the hypocrites. But there was a third practice that he stood up against. I'm going to tell you in a couple of seconds what is this about. So the third practice had to do with fasting. It got corrupted in the same way that the other two practices. It just happened that those who were fasting had a suffering face, like a hungry face. And some even went a step further and put ashes on their heads in order to show everyone that they were fasting. So that way people will identify them and will think that they were a consecrated people, very devout people, because they were fasting. Fasting was not a mandatory practice. Only if they were going to go to war or they were going to go to the presence of God. Other than that, it wasn't mandatory. Some began to fast after the exile, and later on it became a regular practice, doing it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It wasn't mandatory, it was voluntary. So Jesus stands against the motivation, not against the practice, because he said, when you do it, don't do it as the hypocrites. If you're going to fast, wash your face. And if you can put some oil on your head. And let me tell you this, that was something that they did only when they were going to a feast. That's the sense of fasting. If you're going to fast, you're going to celebrate your communion with your God. You're going to skip some meals, and that time you're going to spend it with God. That's the sense of fasting. So Jesus says, if you're going to do it as if you were going to celebrate with me. In Isaiah 58, the prophet talks about a different kind of fasting that has nothing to do with skipping meals. It has to do with helping those who are less fortunate, giving a little bit of what we have with those that have less than us. So neither giving gifts to the poor, neither praying, neither fasting were meant to draw attention to people. They were always meant to glorify God. So if we do any of these three practices, let's do it for the glory of God. See you tomorrow.